Oh my god, not this movie. I'm just going to preface this review by saying this is the one Transformers movie that I have hated the most. There was a time where it was Revenge of the Fallen, but when this came out, done and dusted. This franchise died here and stayed dead. And it's no surprise that these movies can be pretty lazy, but this one takes it to a whole other level. With moments like this, when they didn't finish the fucking green screen. Oh my god. Who approved that? Also, the CGI for the Transformers, which I noticed in the trailers, I was like this moment here, when Stanley Tucci's playing with the Transformium. Okay, usually in trailers you see the CGI is just not finished, and then by the time you get to the movie, you're like, oh, it's a little better, actually. Yeah, not for this movie. The CGI for Optimus and the actual, the original Transformers just doesn't look good. I remember watching the trailer and looking at Optimus and I'm like, somehow that doesn't look as good as the first three. And it's not just the CGI, the movie also has some horrible moments of green screen with that guy falling from so many stories. Wow. Can I just say this, going back to the Transformium, I hate it in this movie. To put it simply, I like seeing the moving parts when a Transformer is transforming. I don't like seeing a bunch of cubes and fucking lines and shit. Like, that's just lazy CGI. It's horrible. And seriously, this is the best you can do with a $210 million budget. This is what you came up with? Alright, I will give this movie this. There are two human characters in the movie that I actually like. Mark Wahlberg's character and Stanley Tucci's character. Mark Wahlberg is just, Mark Wahlberg. He's a likable guy. I like him as an actor. And he does get a lot of funny scenes. And Stanley Tucci also gets a lot of funny scenes. But I have to stipulate, they're not enough for me to like this movie. I don't even like this movie. I like Revenge of the Fallen, even though I have issues with it. But no, this movie, no. And there's a horrible scene. Oh my god. There's a horrible scene between Mark Wahlberg's character, Cade, and Optimus, where Cade is talking to Optimus, telling him that he just gets no respect from his daughter. And then Optimus's response to that is,
it's just impossible sometimes.
Yeah, I went through that with Bumblebee.
Wow. Fuck me dead. It's like a child wrote that. Alright, so there's obviously a lot that I hate about this movie and more to talk about. But one of the first things that I really hate about this movie is the fact that the Autobots are being hunted down by a group of humans after the Battle of Chicago. But apparently it's not just that. All of the United States has to report any alien activity, Decepticon or Autobot. So they're blaming the Battle of Chicago on the Autobots. If they wanted to say that the Autobots were responsible for anything this late into the franchise, they could have done that with Revenge of the Fallen, because the world knew about the Autobots by the end of that movie. So it's one thing to say that a group of humans within the government are hunting the Autobots, but it's a whole other thing to say that the entire country is now against the Autobots after they saved the planet Earth 3 times. The other thing that I hate about this is the fact that this tips Optimus over the point of no return, where he just starts killing humans, which I hate for many reasons, but the first reason is that the last movie ended with him literally saying, we will never forsake this planet and its people. And then in this movie, we see him start killing humans. This movie really tries to fuck up the one movie that was actually the best in the franchise, in my opinion. But this also sucks because there's literally no time spent on it. Like, the movie just starts and everyone all of a sudden hates the Autobots and wants them dead. No time spent on that. No time spent on why Optimus is all of a sudden now willing to kill humans. I know they show the fact that Autobots are being killed, but Optimus has seen darker days. This makes no sense. There's no moral confliction. Nothing. He just all of a sudden is okay with killing humans. And this movie also tries to ruin the Autobots by turning them into bickering, arguing children. Like, that's all they are in this movie. They just bicker and argue all the time, endlessly. It's so annoying. Another thing that I really hate about this movie is the fact that it feels so directionless. When I first watched this movie when I was about 15, which is still pretty young, I was thinking to myself, where the hell is this movie going? By the halfway point, there's no actual stakes to the movie, there's no central plot, there's nothing leading to anything like in the first three. I mean, Revenge of the Fallen was pretty bad, but at least you could say by the halfway point you could see where it was going. The plot and the story was starting to reveal itself, but by the halfway point of this movie, which it is a long movie and so much shit happens in it, and by the time you get to the halfway point, you're wondering, is this it? I have to compare this movie to the first three because it's just, it's unavoidable for me. For the first movie, the first act introduces the Transformers, Sam in high school, and then we get to the second act and he's trying to figure out this whole world with the Transformers, and they're trying to find the glasses and prepare for the final battle, which is the third act. Then in Revenge of the Fallen, the first act is reintroducing Sam and the Transformers, and then the second act is them pretty much on the run, searching for the matrix of leadership, and then the third act is the battle in the desert. And the first act in Dark of the Moon is the same as the previous two, where it reintroduces Sam, reintroduces the Autobots, very easy, very simple, very linear storytelling. We get to the second act, again, very linear storytelling. They're trying to research NASA, trying to stop the Decepticons, and then the Decepticons take over and they have to save his girlfriend, and then the third act of the movie is them trying to stop Sentinel. Very easy to follow, very linear storytelling, which for a Transformers movie is all you need. All you need is a simple 3-act structure. In this, it's very confusing where the first act ends, second act starts, second act ends, third act starts. It's very hard to follow because this movie, not only is it so long, it reintroduces so many Transformers, 2 major villains in the franchise, and by the time you get to the third act, you're like, what the fuck is happening? Halfway through the movie, as I said, I'm wondering what the hell is going on, because the movie had already been going on for quite a while, and it was this huge action scene where they're trying to save Cade's daughter. And I remember watching it thinking, is this the final act? Like, is this all this movie is going to be? No, but then the movie continues, and Lockdown, who we thought is the main villain of this movie, leaves, and then Galvatron takes over the story for a minute to try and steal this thing called the Seed. And it spends quite a bit of time, and it's like this huge revelation that Megatron is actually the mind behind Galvatron, and now the Autobots have to fight the Decepticons. But then Lockdown comes back in the midst of all that, trying to hunt down Optimus. And then that itself becomes a battle. I have no words. I have no words because the third act is so much shit. And also the Dinobots are in this as well. Great. This movie actively tries to fuck the Dinobots. It really does. And I don't like any of the Autobots in this movie, by the way. I don't like Optimus because he's killing humans and there's no explanation for it. I don't really like Bumblebee because he's a child now, bickering and arguing with the other Autobots. I don't like the Autobots in this movie. How pathetic is that? I don't even like the Decepticons because of how they transform. I don't like Lockdown because he's just a big villain in a movie with another big villain, Galvatron. I can't watch it, honestly. Like, there are some Transformers movies like Revenge of the Fallen that I will put on when I'm doing stuff. Like, it's entertaining to watch in that way. But this one, never. I never watched this. Anyway, that's my review for Age of Extinction. I thought I would be more loud, but I don't really feel the need to. But yeah, I hate this. I hate it. I'm depressed now. Anyway, that's my review for Age of Extinction. I'll see you in my review for The Last Night. Holy fuck. Special, just put something there so we don't see green. Oh my god. I hate the fact that... And this is... then, but so they're blaming the Battle of... what? Anyway, I have to... Fuck me dead, I hate this movie so much.